Hello, konnichiwa. This is Tom, and I'm in Tokyo. It's Saturday right now, March 12th, about 4:20 in the afternoon. And I've had a lot of people that were very concerned about me and about what happened after the earthquake here. So I just wanted to make a quick video and let everybody know that I'm doing fine. So nothing to worry about. It was quite a time though. We've had a lot of seismic activity here for the last several days. The first earthquake that I experienced was Wednesday about quarter to 12. So I was standing at my desk at the office, and all of a sudden I looked down at a piece of paper that I had in my hand, and I thought, what's going on? It seems like I'm shaking back and forth or moving back and forth here. So it was just a little bit of a tremor, and one of the people that I work with said, yeah, that was an earthquake, and sure enough, it was an earthquake. I got this app for my iPhone called I Felt It that basically shows all earthquakes around the world, but also you can set it for earthquakes within 500 miles. So it's quite interesting to look at. Maybe I'll show it to you later on the video. But anyway, so that was my first experience with an earthquake. Then the next morning, about 6:25, this would be Thursday morning, there was another small tremor, and the towels in my bathroom were swinging back and forth. Then that afternoon, we had another tremor, and so there's been quite a bit of seismic activity for the last several days. But then yesterday, the big one hit, and this happened about quarter to 3 in the afternoon, Friday afternoon. I was sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden, I felt the first bump, and I said, leaned back and looked over at the desk of one of my coworkers and said, "Shake, rattle, and roll." And he looked at me with kind of a puzzled look on his eyes, like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden he went, oh my God, because it really started. And it went for, I think it was about 5 minutes, but it seemed like it was much, much longer. So we got up out of our desks and sort of congregated in the middle area of our office away from the windows. A couple people did dive under the desks. And it was very, very scary. There was a lot of shaking. We have cubies in our office area, and they were moving back and forth. And when you looked out of the window at the buildings that are very close to our building, other office buildings, they were just swaying back and forth. And you could see that our building was moving toward one of the other buildings, and we'd get closer and then farther away and closer and then farther away. So that was pretty scary. And that lasted, as I said, for about 20 minutes. So then what happened was about 20 minutes after that, I'm sorry, that lasted for about 5 minutes. But then about 20 minutes after that, there was another bad shake. Maybe not quite as bad as the first one, but it was still very scary. So there was an aftershock at that time. And that went on for about an hour and a half, I'd say. And they kept coming on and announcing things on the PA system, and of course it was all in Japanese, but what they were saying was to stay away from the windows and also don't leave the building, because it can get very dangerous when you leave the building, because there could be falling glass, so or falling chunks of buildings and things like that. So anyway, it lasted till, this bumping and things kept going on till probably 4:30, maybe quarter to 5, and then they announced that we were closing the office and it was safe for people to leave, but the elevators were shut down, so you had to use the stairwell. So there's a stairwell that's right near our office, and we're on the 11th floor, by the way. I don't know if I said that. So we're on the 11th floor. We left our office to walk down, and of course it was just a stream of people both going down and coming back up, because a lot of people were coming to pick things up in the office and try to get organized. So anyway, as we were walking down, there were large chunks of drywall that had come off the wall in the stairwell, and that was a little scary. But we didn't really see too much other damage than that. So I was with two of my other coworkers. One lives in the same building, Izumi Garden, where I live. And Izumi Garden is about a 20-minute walk from the office, so it really wasn't bad. I walk to the office and home from the office every day. So we left and walked home, and one thing that was unbelievable was the number of people on the street. It was just completely jammed with people, many, probably 10 times more than you normally would see. at that time. So we walked home, and the only damage we saw one building that was about maybe 4 or 5 stories high, kind of an older building, and that had probably 20 windows broken out of it, and they had police cones around it so people didn't walk underneath it, and that sort of thing. And then we did see some cracking along the sidewalks and cracking where the sidewalk meets the marble steps of a building or some things like that, but it was nothing really very serious at all. Now, they did shut down the expressway. I live right near an expressway, and it's an elevated expressway, and that was shut down. They also shut down all the trains. So, and that's why a couple of people who live farther out actually came to Gary. That's my coworker who lives in my building. They came to his apartment and stayed there overnight. I would have invited several people over, but unfortunately I don't really have any furniture yet. That's coming week after next. So I really didn't have anywhere for people to sleep. Otherwise, as I said, I would have invited many people over from the office. So there was Gary and I and 2 other coworkers, and we went out to dinner last night, and actually were able to find a restaurant that was open and had a very nice dinner within walking distance of our apartment. Then after that came home and went to bed. So woke up this morning, and things seem like they're getting back to normal. The elevated expressway is back open again. I went to the grocery store, and I was able to buy what I needed at the grocery store without really any difficulty. I did also go to the bank, and I was talking to this young Japanese girl at the bank, and she asked me how yesterday was, and I told her my story, and she told me that she walked home from work, and it took her 5 hours to get home. So there are a lot of people that have stories like that. In fact, many people stayed, I think, in our office, and she said many people slept over at the bank branch also. So there are a lot of people that have a lot worse stories than I do. Now, this next week, on Wednesday, I have to go to London, and so we fly out of Narita Airport, which is the main airport, the largest airport near Tokyo, and it's normally I think it's about a 1-hour train ride out to Narita, and right now that train is not running. There's an express train called the Narita Express that goes out there, so that's not running, but hopefully they'll have it running by the middle of next week. So anyway, I know there's a lot of people that had many big problems in Japan, but I was very fortunate. People in our office were very fortunate, as much as I know. So anyway, I'll say sayonara for now. Thank you for listening. Arigatou gozaimasu. Hope you all have a good day. Take care. Bye.